Hello students, uh, let us start with the digital communication first chapter. So let us check the basic elements of the digital communication system. In my previous presentation we already know, but here we check this all block diagram in detail. First one, that is source of information. First block is the source of information. Source of information may be the sender or transducer which sends the information or signal to the source encoder. Again, that source encoder is fed to that signal to the channel encoder, then modulator, channel, demodulator, channel decoder, source decoder, and use of information or receiver. Here, the binary string for the encoder and decoder is required. So first one, the information source or and the input transducer. The information or the source of information can be the analog or digital. For example, analog or video signal, digital like a teletype signal. In the digital communication, the signal produced by this source is converted into the digital signal which consists of ones and zeros. And for this we need the source encoder. So source encoder converts that signal into the digital form. So the first block in the digital communication system is the source of information which generates the signal, maybe the in case of the analog or the digital form. So it may be the transducer. So we already discussed like a transducer is one kind of the devices which converts the physical quantity into the electrical signal or one form of the energy into the other form of the energy. That the information may be in case of analog or digital form. Analog or audio or video signals or digital may be the teletype signal. So in digital communication, the signal produced by the source is should be the converted into the digital form, and that digital form signal should be consist of the ones and zeros. And for this purpose, converting of the analog signal into the digital signal, we need the source encoder. So the second block of the digital communication is the source encoder. So let us check the source encoder. In digital communication, we convert the signal from the source into the digital signal as mentioned above. The point is to remember we should like to use the few binary digits as possible to represent the signal. In such a way, it is efficient representation of the source outputs results in the little or no redundancy. And this sequence of the binary digit is called as a information sequence. So source encoder converts basically the analog signal into the digital signals. Of course, source encoders consist of the sample and hold circuit quantization or A to D converter where the signal is converted into the digital form. Next one, source encoding or the data compression. And once the signal is converted into the digital form, the process of efficiently converting the output of whether analog or digital source into the sequence of binary digit is known as the source encoding. So source encoding process or data compression process is nothing but efficiently converting the digital signal or sequence into the binary digits is known as the source encoding. So source encoding converts the efficiently your analog or digital source into the binary digits. Next, the channel encoder. So the next block is nothing but the channel encoder. So the channel encoder, the information sequence is passed through the channel encoder, and the purpose of channel encoder is to introduce in controlled manner some redundancy in the binary information sequence, and that can be used at the receiver to overcome the effect of the noise or interference encountered in the transmission of the signal through the channel. So once the signal is converted into the digital signal, it sent via the different channel for a long distance communication. But due to the bandwidth and due to the different noises added into the signal, so it is necessary to add some redundant information into the signal. If you introduce some extra or padded bit or redundant bit, so it is useful to overcome the effect of the noise or interference, and that redundant bit can be removed at the receiver side and the original information can be retrieved back. So for this, take the example k bits of the information sequence and map that k bits into the n unique bits is called as a sequence or code word, and the amount of redundancy is introduced. So the measured is n by k, that is a ratio, and the reciprocal of this unit is k by n is known as a code rate or rate of the code. So in this way, the channel encoder adds the some redundant bit, and that sequence is passes through the channel encoder, and at the receiver side that signal can be recorded back by eliminating the redundant or extra added bits. Next is the digital modulator. So this is the fourth block, digital modulator. Digital modulator, that is a binary sequence, is passed to the digital modulator, which in turn converts the sequence into the electrical signal so that we can transmit them on the channel. So the digital modulator maps the binary sequence into the signal waveform, which uses the different modulation techniques like a PCM. PCM converts the signal, analog signal, into the pulses, or take the example ASK converts the signal into the pulse, which is in the form of the ones and zeros, FSK or PSK. So for example, we represent the 1 by the sin x and 0 by the cos x. Then we will transmit the sin x for the 1 bit and cos x for the 0 bit. So sin x and cos x signals are in the form of the wave, which can be sent through the channel. So if sin x is represented as a 1 and cos is represented as a 0, similar to the BPSK, that is a binary phase shift keying. Next one is the channel. So the next block is the after the modulator is the channel. The channel. The communication channel is a physical medium that is used for the transmitting the signal from the transmitter to the receiver. In case of the wireless system, this channel consists of the atmosphere, and for the traditional telephony, this channel is wired. There is a optical channel or underwater acoustic channel. So there are many more channels. So depending upon the type of the application, the channel may be the wired or wireless one. Next, the digital modulator. So the next one is the digital. So this is the line of the first four blocks is nothing but the transmitter, and the next this is the channel. After the channel, this is the next block is the reverse of the first four, or reverse line at the receiver. After the channel, the next block is the digital demodulator. Digital demodulator passes the channel corrupted transmitted waveform and reduces the waveform to the sequence of the numbers that represents the estimates of the transmitted data symbols. Next one is the channel decoder. So the reverse action at the channel decoder. So channel decoder, this sequence of the number is then passed through the channel decoder, which attempts to reconstruct the original information sequence from the knowledge of the code and used by the channel encoder, and the redundancy contained in the received data. So channel decoder retrieve the original sequence. Next, source decoder. The next block is the source decoder, and the next block is the use of information. So source decoder, at the end, if the analog signal is dishead, then the source decoder tries to decode the sequence from the knowledge of encoding algorithm, and which results the approximate replica of the input at the transmitter end. So at the decoder, source decoder, you will get the original signal which is fed by the transmitter, and the output transmitter finally get desired signal, which is desired format, analog or digital one. Next, advantages of the digital communication. Digital communication withstand the channel noise and distortion much better as the analog, as long as the noise and the distortion are within the limits. Regenerative repeaters prevent the accumulation of the noise along the path. So elimination of the repeaters here. Digital hardware implementation is a very flexible. Next, digital signals can be coded and to yield the extremely low error rates as compared to the analog signal. high fidelity, and as well as privacy. So the security of the digital signals can be maintained by the using the different encryption algorithm provided in the cryptography, as well as the error probability can be minimized once if the error is generated in the signal can be detected as well as corrected by the different error encoding and decoding algorithm. As well as the digital communication is inherently more efficient than the analog and realizing the exchange of the SNR for the bandwidth, and it is easier and more efficient to multiplex several digital signals. Digital signal storage is relatively easy and inexpensive, and the reproduction of with the digital message is extremely reliable without deterioration. And the next advantage is the cost of the digital hardware continues to have every 2 or 3 years, while performance and capacity doubles over the same time period. The disadvantages are TDM digital transmission is not compatible with the FDM, and the digital system requires the large bandwidth. This is the one of the most important disadvantage, that is digital system requires the large bandwidth. Next, the introduction to the pulse modulation. So, what is the need of the pulse modulation? Many signals in the modern communication system are the digital and also analogs are transmitted digitally and reduce the distortion and improvement in the signal to noise ratio. So these are the PAM, PWM, PPM, PCM and DM. In continuous wave modulation schemes, some parameters of modulated wave varies continuously with the message. In analog pulse modulation, some parameters of each pulse is modulated by a particular sample value of the message. So the pulse modulation is of two types. One is the angle pulse modulation, pulse amplitude modulation PAM, pulse width modulation PWM, pulse position modulation PPM, digital pulse modulation, pulse code modulation PCM, and delta modulation DM. So this is only introductory part. We already checked some systems in the analog communications, and in digital communication we are going to check the PCM, DPCM and DM in this chapter. Next, pulse modulation. Pulse modulation, that is a pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation, pulse position modulation, pulse code modulation and delta modulation. First one is the pulse code modulation. Here the three steps involved in the conversion of the analog signal to the digital signal: sampling, quantization and binary encoding. We already checked this system, as well as we are going to check the PCM system in detail. So the three steps are involved, that is sampling, quantization and binary encoding. Elements of the PCM system, that is source continuous time message signal. It is fed to the low pass filter where the low frequency component allows and attenuates the high frequency component. Next, it is fed to the sampler where sampling takes place, that is you will get the sampled of that signal. After that, it is fed to the quantizer where quantization is nothing but the rounding of maybe the quantization uniform or non-uniform. Next, quantizer uses the rounding of the signal or gives the approximation of the sample signal, and again it is fed to the encoder. So here you will get the PCM signal. That signal is traveled via the different channel. The channel may contains the repetitive regenerative repeaters where signal strength may improve. After the transmission path, it is fed to the receiver. Receiver regeneration circuit is there where signal is regenerated or amplifies the strength of the signal. Again, it is fed to the decoder where original signal or converts into the back into the analog signal. Again, reconstruction filter is used to uh, recover back the signal as a replica of the input signal, and it is finally fed to the destination. Sampling. Sampling is the process of converting the analog signal into the discrete signal. Sampling is common in all pulse modulation techniques. The signal is sampled at the regular intervals such that each sample is proportional to the amplitude of the signal at that instant. The analog signal is sampled at the Ts second, called the sampling interval, and Fs is nothing but the sampling frequency that should be equal to 1 by Ts, which is called as the sampling rate or sampling frequency. If Fs is equal to 2 Fm is a minimum sampling rate or sampling criteria, which is called as a Nyquist rate, and that should be maintained for the proper sampling without distortion, and the sampled spectrum omega is repeating periodically without overlapping. So without aliasing effect, we should sample the signal by maintaining the Nyquist rate. Fs is equal to 2 Fm. So this is very important while sampling. The original spectrum is centered at the omega is equal to 0 and having the bandwidth omega n. The spectrum can be recovered by passing through the low pass filter with cutoff frequency omega n. For if the Fs is less than 2 Fm, the sampled spectrum will overlap and cannot recover back, and that effect is called as the aliasing effect. So your origin from the spectrum, this kind of the spectrum, the original signal cannot be recovered if your Nyquist criteria does not follow, that is the Fs is less than 2 Fm. For the proper sampling, Fs should be equal to 2 Fm. Sampling method, so we already discussed in the different subjects in as well as studied into the analog communication. There are three kind of the sampling: ideal sampling, natural sampling, and flat top sampling. An impulse at each sampling instant, that is ideal sampling. Natural sampling is nothing but the a pulse of short width with varying amplitude, and flat top sampling is nothing but the uses the sample at hold like a natural but the signal amplitude value. So this is the ideal sampling where the input signal is multiplied to the impulse signal, so you will get the ideal sampling, but it is practically not possible. Next one is the natural sampling, that is the input signal is multiplied to the pulse of the impulse signal. So these are the pulses of the input signal. And next one is the flat top sampling, where the top of the pulse is varied but its top is should be the flat, so that is nothing but the flat top sampling. Sampling of the bandpass signal. So sampling of the bandpass signal of bandwidth should be bandpass signal of the bandwidth 2 Fm and can be completely recovered from its sample, and their minimum sampling rate should be 2 into the bandwidth. So bandwidth is 2 Fm. So the sampling of the bandpass filter is 2 into 2 Fm, that is a 4 Fm, and the range of minimum sampling frequencies in the range of 2 bandwidth to the 4 bandwidth. Instantaneous sampling or impulse sampling. The sampling function is the train of the spectrum remains constant impulses through the frequency range, and it is not a practical. Natural sampling. Natural sampling, the spectrum is weighted by the sine function and the amplitude of the high frequency component reduces. And flat top sampling, so here already we mentioned, in this case the impulse signal is multiplied, in this case the pulse of the impulse signal is multiplied. And the third one is the flat top sampling, where the pulses with the top flat is multiplied to the analog signal. So here the top of the sample remains constant, and in the spectrum high frequency components are attributed to the sync pulses roll-up, and this is known as the aperture effect. And if the pulse width increases, the aperture effect is more, and that is more attenuation of high frequency component. Next one is the sampling theorem. Statement of the sampling: the band limited signals of finite energy which has no frequency component higher than the W hertz and it's completely described by specifying the values of the signal at instant of the time separated by 1 by 2 w seconds, and the band limited signal of a finite energy which has no frequency components higher than the w and may be completely recovered from the knowledge of its sample taken at the rate 2 w samples per second. So that is, your sampling rate should be, or sampling frequency should be greater than or equal to 2 omega. That is a continuous time signal is completely represented by its samples and recovered back if its sampling frequency is twice of the highest frequency content of the signal. So here fs should be greater than or equal to the 2 ohm w. So W is the highest frequency component. So your sampling frequency should be greater than or equal to 2 omega, and this is the statement of the sampling theorem. So this is the input signal, and this is the pulse impulses, and if these first two signals, that is x of t and delta of t, gets multiplied, so you will get the sampling of the signal. So this is called, we can call it as the ideal sampling. Proof of the sampling, there are two parts of the derivation of the sampling, that is the representation of the x of t in its samples and reconstruction of the x of t from its samples. So steps are the defined x of delta of t, that is your input signal and impulse signal. Next, its Fourier transform. Next, relation between its spectrum and sample signal, and the relation between the x of t, that is the original signal, and sample signal. So let us take the first step, that is defined of x delta t. So x delta t is your input signal, and thus delta or impulse signals uh, shifted by nts. Here x delta t is the product of x delta and the impulse train delta, and is shown in the above figure. Above equation, delta of t minus nts indicates the sampled period at plus minus ts, plus minus 2ts, and plus minus 3ts, and so on. So this is the first step. Second step, take the Fourier transform of the x of delta. Taking the Fourier equation, so x delta of t is equal to Fourier transform of this equation. So ft of the product, so that is ft of x of t into ft of delta of t minus nts. So by the definition of the Fourier transform, delta of t minus nts is nothing but the summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity delta of f minus nfs. So here the equation 2 becomes x delta of f is equal to x of f into fs summation of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity delta of f minus nfs. Since the convolution is the linear one, so here asterisk sign represents the convolution. So the, and the, you know the property of the Fourier transform, multiplication is nothing but the Fourier transform of the convolution signal. So x of delta of f is equal to fs summation of the n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of f into delta of, into means convolved with the delta of f minus nfs. So you will get the series by the shifting property. So the RHS of the above equation shows that x of f is placed at the fs plus minus 2 fs plus minus 3 fs and so on. So this sample signal is, or the spectrum is available at this place. This means that x of s is periodic with the period fs, and the sampling frequency is fs is equal to 2w. Then the spectrum of fs is just touch each other, not overlap to the each other. So you will get the, this is your spectrum of the original signal, and this is the spectrum of the sample signal. So the samples are available plus minus w plus the plus minus fs plus minus 2 fs plus minus 3 fs and so on. So can we derive the relation between the xf and x of delta f? So here let us assume the fs is equal to 2 omega as per the diagram, and x delta of f is equal to fs into xf. So xf is equal to 1 by fs. into x delta of f. So relation between original signal and sample signal. So take the DTFT, that is x of ohm is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n e raised to minus j omega n. So this is the equation for the DTFT. You can consider it as it is. So while deriving this kind of the equation, you should use the pen and notebook so that you can getting the idea of how to derive the equations. So x of f is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n into e raised to minus j 2 pi fn. So the equation becomes x of delta of f is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi f by fs n. So in above equation, f is the frequency of the CT signal, f by fs is the frequency of the DT signal. Then the sample signal, samples of x of t is equal to x of delta is equal to summation minus infinity to infinity x of n ts into e raised to minus j 2 pi fn ts. So since 1 by fs is equal to ts, so by putting into the above equation, so you will get the x of f is equal to 1 by fs summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n ts into e raised to minus j 2 pi fn ts. So taking the inverse Fourier transform, so you will get the x of t by taking the inverse Fourier transform 1 by fs summation minus infinity to infinity x of n ts into e raised to minus j 2 pi fn ts. So x of t is represented completely in terms of the x of n ts, that is a sample signal. And the above equation holds the fs is equal to 2w, that is a Nyquist, follows the Nyquist criteria. This means that if the samples are taken at the 2w rate or higher rate, so your original signals can be recovered back by its samples. And the first part of the sampling theorem is proved by the above two comments. Now the second part, how to reconstruct the original signal from its sampled signal. So use these two steps, that is take the inverse Fourier transform of x of f, which in terms of the x delta of f, and x of t can be obtained by with the help of interpolation. So the x of t is the equation. So take the equation of x of t. Since it should be in the integration of minus w to the w, and x of s is equal to 1 by fs x of delta of f. So take this equation. So interchanging the order of the summation and integration. So x of t is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n ts into 1 by, so this x of n ts is take outside. So this 1 by fs is here. So integration of minus infinity to infinity into e raised to minus j 2 pi f into t minus n ts df. So that is equal to integration of minus infinity to infinity x of nts. This term is as it is 1 by nts integration of e raised to j theta. So that is nothing but the e raised to j theta divided by j theta. So as per this, you will get this term with the limit minus omega to omega. So put this limit into the equation, upper limit then lower limit divided by e minus j 2 pi into t minus nts. So this is nothing but the e raised to theta minus e raised to minus j theta divided by theta. So that this term is nothing but the sine of theta. So the equation becomes n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of nts minus 1 divided by fs sine of 2 pi into omega w into t minus nts divided by pi into t minus nts. So this will, you will get this equation. Here fs is equal to 2w and ts is equal to 1 by fs, that is 1 by 2w, that is sampling the above equation. So you will get the summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of nts sine of 2 pi sine of pi into 2 omega 2wt minus n divided by pi into 2wt minus n. So that is equal to n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of nts sin 2 wt minus n. So since the sine pi theta divided by pi theta is nothing but the sine c theta. So let us interpret this equation. So that is nothing but the series of sinc function. So you will get this is the original signal and this is the reconstructed signal having the sample t is equal to 2ts and sinc function at t is equal to 2ts. So comments, the samples x of n ts are weighted by the sinc function. Sinc function is the interpolating function as shown in the above figure, interpolating function, and shows the x of t is interpolated. And the reconstruction of x of t by passing that signal into the low pass filter and having the bandwidth of minus omega to the minus w to the w, then the reconstructed waveform shown in figure, and individual sinc function can be interpolated to get the smooth of x of t. So this is the smoothing of the function. So you will get the, by interpolating signal you will get the original signal. Thank you.